All right, we're going to try this one more time. We're trying to get Tom Wooley in here. He's our guest for the Howard Experience show this week. Been having some technical difficulties the past day or so we're trying to get it all fixed out today. So if you just bear with us, we're going to get through all this real quick. Waiting for Tom to chime in. Once again, this is the Howard Experience show. Waiting for Tom Wooley to show up. And once he does, okay, there he is. I'm going to send him the invite. Send him the invite, and hopefully this will work. Hold on for a moment. There we go. It's working.
No way!
Tom Wooley, we got it. We got it, man. Wow.
Cool.
Excellent. For those of you who are just joining us, or if there is anybody else online, or you're going to watch this later, we've been trying to put this together the last couple of days. We've had some some technical difficulties. First, we did an offsite gig. Didn't quite work out. We replanned it, and Tom called me up today, and we tried to go off his Mac. Yeah, we got 2 viewers. We tried to go off his what was it, iMac, right? Your Mac computer.
Yeah, and, it's a new Mac. I thought it was gonna work, but yeah, it's working now.
It's working now. That's what counts. That's how we do this. And once again, you were at the Howard Experience show featuring our first guest, Tom Wooley. Say what's up, Tom, to everybody out there that's tuning in.
Audience? I see another. Oh, we had 3 guests.
We got 3 guests, 3 whole guests.
Man, this is going to be huge. This is a first for Guam. This is a first for our region. This is going to put us on the map. And, man, I want to be a regular occurring guest, too, James. I want to be like, do this, see the progression. Because I am just, this is the future. This is how people communicate in today's day and age,
Totally,
I
man.
think it's really I think it's a new media, and it changes. It rapidly spreads ideas. I think that's what I'm talking about.
Changes the paradigm. Earlier in some other videos I did, we talked about radio and how that's kind of being phased out. It's still around, obviously, with advertising and everybody has a radio in your car. But you got to admit right now, it's either YouTube, it's social media, Instagram, and stuff like we're doing today to share ideas, to talk about whatever. And the other thing is we can fucking cuss and do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
without FCC shit.
The Rothschilds breathing down our necks, trying to dictate their 1% agenda, right?
Right. And that's funny we bring that up because right now, Mark Zuckerberg is in front of Congress stating his case on all this privacy and all this other stuff. They're trying to basically. I watched a little bit of it today, and they're trying to clamp down on freedom of the internet, net neutrality. They're trying to lock it down. They're trying to really direct us into a position where we're only listening, we're only taking data or media from certain sources. You got to admit that in the world of the internet, which is free for everybody, you're going to have the good and the bad. That's just the territory. And once you try to clamp it down, once you try to how you say it, take out the things you don't want, then that becomes structured in a way where stuff like we're doing is going to go away. If somebody doesn't like what we're doing, they can call up the internet company and go, hey, you know that show, The Howard Experience? We don't like it because they're talking too much. They're talking too much jargon. So
we're talking the truth, James, up in here.
Exactly. So let's just start the narrative. Once again, thank you for everybody showing up. If you're watching this right now, welcome. If you're going to watch this later tonight, excellent. What we ask is you just share the show, and all the things that we're going to talk about today is all organic. Tom and I had spoken a couple of times this week. We didn't really pick up an agenda. We just kind of said, hey, there's a couple of things we want to talk about, but other than that, this is all on the fly. This is all at the top of our heads, and it's the way it should be. It's the way a talk should go. We're not going to call this an interview, or we're just two guys talking and using our brains and what we think, different subjects, and obviously you can put your comment down on the page.
If anyone has any questions out there in internet land, we can see like a few people that are watching this, and I'm just stoked. I remember back in the day, where I used to have to write letters to people, and put them in the mail, take it, and then wait a few weeks, and then you try to find out what people are up to across the ocean. But today, this is radical.
Exactly. And you remember how long that used to take, right? You'd have to used to get a stamp and go to the post office or put it in your mailbox. And in Guam, if you're sending a letter to the States or even Hawaii, that thing takes like 2 weeks, right? That's what I remember.
That's radical. But we're able to communicate with our friends and family and across the globe instantaneously, and that's awesome. I'm stoked.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So, oh man, there's just so many different things. One of the things we posted, I don't know if you wanted to get to it now or a little bit later on in the broadcast, is the whole alien concept.
Oh, definitely. We can get into it now. One of the, as I was telling you earlier, when you go to search engines or search sites, there's a ranking that's done. They kind of look at, what are people looking at? What are people searching for? Are they searching for, cats? Are they searching for, how to buy things on Google? So the number one search is obviously porn. Porn is the number one search. Whatever flavor you want, people are searching porn all the time, every day. They even have the different parts of the world that they're searching porn. Okay. Number two on that list is extraterrestrials, aliens, other life in the world. And that's you're right. That's what we posted on the Instagram as well as the Facebook on one of the topics we were going to do today. And I think it's a fair conversation to have between yourself and myself and other people that want to join in. What do you think? Have you had any experiences with this phenomenon? And do you think it's a hoax? Do you think it's real? Not sure. Well, why don't you go ahead and start it off, Tom? What do you think?
I got so many ideas, James. Don't get me started. I will talk for hours.
Let's do it. We got hours, man. We got hours.
Oh shoot, where should I begin? Right before we got on the video, I was just kind of tidying up around my desk area, and I came upon this old, I guess it's one of the 4 ancient Chinese history stories. It's the legend of the stone monkey.
Okay.
And
I haven't
You
heard
know,
that one.
I'm fascinated when it comes to like aliens and you know, the thought of not being alone here on Earth as the only intelligent life in the universe. I like to kind of look at ancient history and see what clues or what kind of things we can uncover, you know. And this legend of the stone monkey, this ancient Chinese text, I think it was written around 600 AD, put down, but it was based on oral tradition. You know, I'm still researching it, but basically, this monkey kind of materialized out of stone, and it got me thinking about traveling interstellar distances. And you know, the physics part of me just thinks that, you know, traveling from one star to another star, this is light years, right? Like
Yeah,
light
yeah,
takes years to go between distances, and like physical, like mammals or I don't, you know, I just think that's kind of unconceivable. But you know, we send probes. You know, the human race has sent. You know, I think we sent a probe that just went out beyond Pluto recently. I don't know if you heard about that, but you know, we send these non-animate objects, and I think it's possible that a race could send out probes that have some kind of DNA, some kind of egg, kind of or
yep.
mechanical structure that when it lands in a planet that it could maybe spontaneously generate, right? And this
Gotcha, gotcha.
ancient Chinese story is all about this monkey that comes spontaneously um, comes out of this rock, and then it's a stone monkey, and then it joins the monkeys that were here, and then it goes and does these amazing adventures. It's an interesting story. I love reading about the history of it and the different translations and stuff. The Legend of the Stone Monkey, if ever anyone gets time to watch or look it up on Google.
And
But yeah, that's you know,
this stone monkey came from. How did it get to the Earth?
I think you know, like a probe
Okay,
maybe
okay,
floated down and landed on Earth and kind of spontaneously generated, and then kind of mixed with the the local monkeys and kind of maybe there's I think there's alien DNA. Basically, I think that's the bottom line. I think humans are definitely different than every other life on. I mean, we have this brain. I think there's modern advances in DNA sequencing and how they look at the genome, like you know, and they're uncovering some real mysterious things like about our DNA that makes us very different than monkey DNA. And some people think it's because of artificial or alien contact or
manipulation, right?
yeah. And then also, you know, I've been looking into Sumerian, these ancient Sumerian texts, you know, and they have this idea of these Anunnaki like coming from the planet Nibiru, like this
Yes,
planet that circles the solar system once every few thousand years, I guess.
I think it's
And there's this
35.
race.
Yeah, 35,000 years. I think that is the. That's the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they came down and they were mining gold and maybe they created like a race of people, like created like a genetically modified monkey, like a race to do their work for them. But then eventually they left and then there was humans. I don't know. I think there's definitely a history to you know to human history that is not that is very mysterious and exciting and different than
Unexplained. Unexplained, correct?
unexplained. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think the thing you're
yeah,
talking about with the Anunnaki is actually Zachariah Stitchin. He is
yeah, yeah.
he is the lead guy who actually wrote the book Chariots of the Gods, that talks about the legend, the myth of Sumeria and the ancient hieroglyphs and the cuneiform that was found in Sumeria, which is actually the area where Iraq, Iran, and Syria meet, which is supposed to be the birthplace of humanity, so to speak, there as well as in Africa. And he's actually passed away already, um, and he was very much ridiculed by scientists, ridiculed by a lot of people, and obviously, you know, Zachariah Stitchin had this story that he told. Did he have any hard evidence though? As far as I know, nothing concrete. Just like you were talking about earlier, though, about the oral tradition, and I think that's a lot of the things that we have in the past is oral tradition. From what I understand, from the things I've looked into, the everyday communication when you're writing stuff, you know, cursive or print, that's still kind of modern. In back in the day, it used to be more of an oral tradition. You tell stories, and symbolism was the bigger part on how to communicate different stories. So, you know, definitely that rabbit hole that you touched on with you know, the DNA being manipulated by other beings from not in our world, and especially from a different kind of planet. Definitely, you know, it's plausible. Anything at this point, I think, my personal opinion, you can put into the mix, and you can talk about it, you can debate. The academics will tell you that where's your evidence? You know, if we had some academics in here, they would look at you, Tom, and they would go, you know, where's your evidence, Tom? where are you
You
getting
know,
it?
that's why
Where are you
I'm
getting all of this?
fascinated with these megalithic structures. You know, the physical
Yes.
megalithic structures like the pyramids, the Sphinx, these wall carvings in Sumeria, they were actually carved, uh, some of them thousands of years ago, by humans. So it's physical evidence of something. You know, it's telling a story. That's why I like it, because you can touch it and feel it, and
It's
it's a
there.
way that the ancient people are communicating to
Yep.
us, you know, something about their lives, something that they encountered. And they have, you know, these descriptions of, you know, there's wall carvings with the sun and 9 planets, and kind of in a general size ratio of the planets that, you know, modern scientists didn't even know up until 1900. And they had these carvings thousands of years ago.
Yes.
Something happened. They got this information from somewhere. You know, it could be that it was just an accident. Maybe they just guessed, or maybe they were carving
No
on the
way.
wall. And just, I don't know. There's the artist's license, you know, to make different size planets.
Yeah.
But there's a few things on these carvings that are just, I think, basically it's these ancient peoples that are communicating through these structures and carvings that something happened. You know, they were doing some incredible work, and you know, there's different theories. There's some people say, you know, just a few thousand years before they were doing those carvings, people were just hunter-gatherers, just living in caves, and not much of a advanced civilization. But there was like this, somehow this rapid leap of technology. So
De- Definitely.
it's fascinating.
You know, some of the things I've read and watched specifically on that point was the academics, the experts in the field today, the archaeologists, the scientists, the geologists. Their theory is it was made by hunter-gatherer people,
Mm-hmm.
okay, without any type of influence, and that kind of that kind of thinking really, for me personally, I have to take a second look at it and question that paradigm, because really, you talk about the megalithic sites, places like Göbekli Tepe, places like Baalbek, places like
Yeah.
the pyramids. Those things we can't even duplicate today, with the
Yeah.
technology that we have. People have tried. We've tried within the last 30 years. We've used cranes. Places close to us, Easter Island. I don't know if you've ever been to Namadol in Pohnpei. I've been there
I
personally,
haven't. I want
and
definitely want to visit that. That's on my bucket list.
that is an ancient site, that a lot of people don't talk about. But it is a site. They call it the city by the water. And if you look at it from the vantage point where it's at now, it actually it's all made of stone. It's all made of stone that was uh, quarried on the other side of the island and brought over, which is several miles away, at least 10 to 20 miles away. They had to bring this stone over. Then they place it just like megalithic sites around the world. And you'll see a top part that it's on the left or west side of the island. Then there's a bigger part of this structure that's actually underwater. So if you kind of take a look at it from a vantage point of why would they build underwater, it's because they didn't build underwater. It's because that was built before there was water. So in our history of the Earth, um, the sea level was much lower. There's another example of this particular structure in Yanaguni. Hold on for a second. He, I lost Tom. Hold on for a moment, people. We'll try to get him back in here. If you've just joined us, thank you for joining in on the conversation. We'll try to get Tom back in here. It looks like he dropped. And I see him back in. Hold on for a moment. Sending him an invite now. And if you're going to watch this later, send us questions, because like we had stated, we're going to try to do this talk about a number of different subjects as frequently as possible, obviously. But it's pretty interesting. We try to get him in here again. Hold on for a moment. He keeps lagging out. Okay, there he is. Just waiting for him to connect, and we'll get the conversation started once again. Just hold on for a moment, please. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. We've been going at it all week this week, trying to do this double live stream. We were on speaking earlier. Now I'm trying to get Tom back in here. And we are actually on the subject of other life in the world. And I'm trying to get Tom in here. Hold on for a moment.
I don't know. Like, it cut the thing, and then I pushed the button,
Yeah.
and it won't get.
Hold on. Let me try to get you in here. Let's restart it. And you're working off the, yeah, let's restart it. Let me restart the cast, then we'll take it from there. If the people are in here, we're going to restart the cast, everybody. We're going to try to get this technical difficulty done. Just come back in a couple of minutes. We'll restart this.